This week, the biggest story has been Raja Jackson and his incident in a Knox Wrestling professional wrestling bout. Now, Raja Jackson is the son of Quinton Rampage Jackson, one of the most famous fighters in MMA history. Thank you. I was left something by a stranger. I don't know what this is. Yeah, Raja Jackson in an incident with Syko Stu, a professional wrestler, has been all over the news. After listening to the story and seeing different videos and different takes on it, I decided to go and watch the full event myself, or watch Raja's full stream to see all the events leading up to, and as much as I could following the incident that took place. Now, for those who don't know, if I could give you a brief, let's see. Raja Jackson is the son of former UFC and MMA legend Quinton Rampage Jackson. He's been involved in a professional wrestling and combat sports, well, recently in professional wrestling, following his father's footsteps. Now, the incident that we're talking about occurred on August 25th. It happened at a WWE affiliated promo called Knok Wrestling. Raja Jackson was involved in what was supposed to be a professional wrestling match with a wrestler known as Syko Stu, and what should have been a choreographed wrestling match turned into what is being called a real violent assault. Raja Jackson appeared to legitimately attack his opponent in what was meant to be a worked match. Work is scripted or choreographed is what they call worked. Wrestler Syko Stu was reportedly knocked unconscious during the incident. The assault was described as horrific and went well beyond the bounds of professional wrestling, according to sources. Now I'm going to just go over the stream. So I watched Raja's stream. He is a kick streamer. Him and his father are both streamers, pretty entertaining. Following in his father's footsteps, tough shoes to follow. Rampage Jackson, a great MMA fighter, and overall a very entertaining individual. So here we go. Details. So in the beginning of this stream, Raja starts streaming on Kick. The stream is an hour and 45 minutes in total. At least I think the stream is an hour and 55 minutes in total. The stream that I got was cut off for the last 10 minutes. It goes a little something like this. And I think that many of these streams are probably getting taken down because YouTube doesn't really like graphic violence. Anyways, the stream starts with him chewing gum. Not a fan of hearing people chew gum on the mic, so that had me cheesed. But it starts with, in the very beginning of the stream, the first 5 minutes, he starts by saying that his head is messed up and he was throwing up. Now, later find out, or Rampage and him kind of allude to the fact that he had been hit. I don't know if he was knocked out in training the day before. He was supposed to be resting, taking a break, but he came out to support his friend AJ Mann. I think AJ Mann is one of his trainers as well. Anyways, so it starts up by saying his head messed up. He said he was throwing up. This sounds like he may have had a concussion. He mentions that he's going to take a break from training. He says he's about to go to a WWE show, and the WWE show that we're talking about is the same one that we're talking about, which was the Knok Pro Wrestling event. So Knok Pro Wrestling is an affiliate of WWE Wrestling. Now, as an old man that I am, I'm pretty new to watching IRL, in real life streams. I knew it was very popular because of guys like I Show Speed and Kai Cenat, and I watched a few of them just to see what these kids are talking about, and they're very time consuming to watch. So the idea that kids do not have, or kids have a super short attention span may not be completely correct, as these take a lot of attention and a lot of time. And some of them can be pretty entertaining, and I could see the difficulty in a streamer, or the talent of a streamer, to be able to hold an audience's attention for over an hour. Some of these streams may go on for 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, just constant all day. So Raja gets to the door of the event and he calls his friend AJ Mana, because the security guard didn't let him right in. He doesn't have a ticket. AJ Mana has to come to the door, says, "Oh yeah, this is my people. I will let you in." Now, throughout the stream, he's looking down at his phone and he's talking to his chat. So, as these streamers are going through their role, or whatever it is they're doing, often they'll have a phone in their hand or a tablet, or they'll be looking at the computer screen and they'll be responding to a thread of watchers that are typing, saying things to them. Sometimes the chat might say, I don't know, jump up and down, whatever. But he's constantly talking to his chat. He mentions that he was hurt in training. Now, AJ Mana, who's part of the show, he brings Raja backstage, gives him kind of the VIP treatment. The whole time he's being followed by a cameraman. So the cameraman, his name is Lloyd. I think he's a friend of his father's. I think he's an older gentleman, about the same age as Rampage, and these guys are all close. The cameraman follows him throughout. So he's backstage at this event with a camera person following him. And the leaf blower is back on. Now, in the beginning, so he's backstage, they're saying hello, he's getting introductions, Raja's being friendly. Syko Stu enters and he walks up to him, kind of staring him down. And Raja asks AJ Mana, "Where's the real McKill at?" Real McKill, another wrestler, I assume. And Stu says, "You don't need to worry about him. You need to be worried about Syko Stu." Raja says, "Syko Stu? What, you don't know me? Hell nah." Stu takes a empty beer can and smashes it into the side of Raja's face, Raja's head. And then he says to him, "You gonna sell it?" Gonna sell it, meaning that, are you going to act it out? AJ Mana pulls and grabs Stu and says, "He's not a effing worker, bro." Now Raja takes his bag off like he's ready to scrap, and Mana and another wrestler, they get between them, and they say to him, "He always thinks we're working over here. It's part of the effing storyline," talking about Syko Stu. Kind of like they're saying, this guy, he's always on. He can't relax. A moment. Just saying I can go pick up my ute. says he's gotta, kind of like Stu, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. So that is the source of the misunderstanding that we see in this whole thing, where Raja is backstage. He's just walking around. He has a camera. Sue thinks that, okay, this is part of the work that's going on. We're backstage. I see a camera. Let me action. Let me perform. But he is mistaken. And they later talk about him being possibly drunk. So this could have further led to any misunderstanding, as alcohol often does, right? So, and then what's next? Now there's tension, like I said, between the two men for a while. They're staring each other down. There are two men between them, and then Stu reaches over and he offers to shake Raja's hands to apologize. Now on the first attempt, Raja rejects the handshake, and because he's still cheesed. He's not happy. Other guys come over, and one of them asked if the cameraman can put his camera down, like, put that down. This is serious. And Raja says, no, leave the camera. That's for me. They say, we're trying to solve something, and Raja says, it's okay, I'm cool now. So they say to Raja, he knows he effed up, and he's trying to apologize. Other wrestlers come over and they shake his hand, so other people are getting involved, trying to diffuse the situation. Now one of the wrestlers, I don't know his name, long hair, maybe Samoan looking, or at least his costume or his persona looks like that. He says to Raja, he says, the good thing about this is now we can make it something, because I'm going to have you run in and F that mother F up on the mat. You ready for that? Raja says, hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. If he can do that for me, I'll be cool. So if he could do that for me, if he could set that up for me, I'll be cool. Now Sid walks over, and he finally, actually no, he doesn't walk over. As Sid goes to sit down, Raja actually walks over towards where Sid is, and Sid reaches out, and they finally shake hands. Sid apologizes, and the guy with the ponytail says it's all gonna work out. And Raja says, I quote, yeah, as long as you can do that. Okay? Now, I see a few mistakes already happening. Mistake number one is Sid hitting Raja with the beer can. And but the mistake number two, big mistake number two, is ponytail guy saying, I'm gonna give you an offer to F him up. Two reasons I say this is, one is that Raja does not play along well with the work. So it's already kind of a sketchy situation. So him already not playing along well with the work, or even knowing, once he finds out that it is a work, he's still not completely cool with it. He's not completely cool with the misunderstanding. They say, I'm still, we're gonna give you a chance to F him up. The third one is Raja saying yes, that he does want to get into the ring, because the reason why he wants to get into the ring is not for a fun time with wrestling. The reason why he wants to get into the ring is possibly to F him up. So yeah, this is a mistake. It was a mistake on Raja's part for sure. And four, huge mistake, is everybody around thinking this is a great idea. This guy is angry. Let's put them in the ring. He'll get his shot to get him back. So there's yeah, there are mistakes being had everywhere. Obviously, I'm looking back. Hindsight is 2020. This wouldn't have been an issue if things didn't go left the way they did. But right now, I'm just pointing out what I see as some of the errors that could have led up to this situation. Now Sid, he shakes Roger's hand, he apologizes again, he explains it was a misunderstanding because there was a camera on them. Roger says, I get it. Ponytail explains to Sid, he's gonna come out on your mat. I know you think you're working. We're always working. Roger says again, I get it. Ponytail says, then Mana says, when you run in, you can give him his receipt. Receipt is like a payback. And then he makes a fist and he says you can give him a receipt. Okay? You remember what a receipt is? Tag his sh. Roger says, I'll get his ass. As long as I get my lick back, I'm straight. So Roger's already giving some clues. As long as I get my lick back, I'm straight. That sentence. Anyways. So they walk around. Mana tries to accommodate him. He gives him a good seat. He puts him in the front row of the, it's not the arena. It's kind of a large room. Not a very big place. Maybe can hold 200 people. Maybe. Not a very big place. And it's not a big loud place. It's kind of an intimate setting, I would say. Now, Roger now sits down. He's in the front row. The show is starting. He's there for most of the stream. As he's sitting there, he's reading the chat. He's reading the chat, looking down, reading the chat. And I don't know if this is because he is kind of unhappy or upset, but he doesn't really take in the show very much or interact with anybody around him that much, which would be more entertaining as far as streaming goes. But it is what it is. So he starts reading the chat. He's talking to the chat. He's saying things like, "No, my dad don't need to save me, bro." He's got on a small microphone on him that he talks into. I think it looks like a Hollyland microphone. It sounds pretty good, considering the noise around. I like it because, yeah, it's not as big as say the mic I have on me. Small mic, not important. So he's sitting. He's not looking happy. All in hindsight now, obviously. So again, it seemed crazy to me, and I don't know if this is how any of these small shows work, but the idea that they brought in an outsider to get onto the stage and to play it up with these trained actors. And I know that professional wrestling, although you wouldn't say it's offensive to say what they do is fake, it is scripted. And why they find it offensive to say that it is fake, because pro wrestling is quite dangerous. Like these guys they're hitting the canvas very hard. They're flying through the air. They're putting each other into very compromising positions, and it requires a lot of trust between the wrestling partners. Anyways, back to this. So throughout the stream, I'll make a few quotes about what he's saying to his stream, since I watched the whole thing and I took some notes. So Roger says, he's just saying to his stream, "Yeah, I'm gonna F him up." And then for somebody from the stream, "Why didn't you F that guy up?" Roger says, "That pissed me off, bro. It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off." Then his dad, Rampage, calls, and he clowns him about hugging up on a man with tights. They roast back and forth for a bit. That's at about the 23-minute mark. Like I said, this is an hour and 45-minute video that I watched. At about 28 minutes, he gets, I guess, another call from Rampage, and he explains to him that he's at a pro wrestling show and says that MF hit him with a can, and he's a little drunk or effed up, and it pissed him off. And they said that I can go into the ring and get his ass. I don't even know what I'm gonna do to him. You thought He says, "What? You thought it was a gay strip club?" Anyways, at about 30 minutes, the show starts. He kind of jokes, "Oh, we got Poop Dog on stage." He starts laughing for the first time. This is the first time I actually see his teeth in the stream at about 30 minutes. Roger seems like a serious guy. And then starts talking back to the chat. He's kind of defensive. "My dad can't help me. What's he gonna do to me, Troy?" 37:55. "I'm not gonna sneak his ass. He's gonna know I'm coming." 38:23. They ask him what song he wants to come out to. He says he doesn't know what song he wants to come out to. They never make this big entrance. He tells the stream he's willing to fight Scam Likely. Now, Scam Likely is another streamer, different streamer. I don't know if you ever watched Scam Likely. I've seen a few of his videos. He basically talks about going to other countries, or from what I've seen, he talks about going to other countries and sleeping with women, etc., etc. Goes to the washroom for a while. Cameraman Lloyd talks to the camera for a while, talks about his history with Rampage, how him and Rampage go back 20 years together. Him and Rampage are the same age, they had kids at the same time, they got divorced at the same time, etc. So it lets us know a little bit about Lloyd, who is, I guess, kind of a guest cameraman. Comes back 48:54. He says to the stream, "Nah, I'm beating this guy's ass though." This is now about 30 minutes after the initial can smash incident. At about 59 minutes, he explains to the chat why he didn't F that guy up. Says at 1 hour, he says, the response to somebody, "I'm a fake crash out, huh? All right, bet. It's always been my dream to F up a pro wrestler for real, so I get it today." At 1 hour, 1 minute, 55 seconds, "Am I really gonna fight him? Yeah, I'm gonna punch his ass for real. Then I'll forgive his ass after that." At 1:02, "I ain't gonna F him up too bad." So I guess he doesn't, here we could say maybe he doesn't have a plan to do exactly what he did. I don't know. He kind of goes back and forth, and he kind of gets a boost from his audience. "I ain't gonna F him up too bad. I don't believe in bullying. But I don't believe in me getting respected too. Too nice, huh? Bet. Does my head hurt? Yes. Hit him? That ish didn't even hurt. That ish was not staged at all. No, the can wasn't full." Then he explains to somebody what happened was he thought I was a wrestler because there was a camera and I was back there, and he was probably drunken-ish, and he thought I was a wrestler. So that's why he did it. So that's why he said, "Are you gonna sell it?" He makes mention several times about being there for his friend, AJ Mana. So imagine this is your friend showing up at your job to show support, you know? At 1 hour, 5 minutes, he says, "How many subs to knock him out?" I ain't really sub farming, but 50 subs, knock him out. Now at 1:08, "They didn't tell me to fake hit him. They said I could hit him for real. If he hits me back for real, I don't give a F. I want him to. I'm dead serious. I'm really about to F him up. Watch, I'm gonna pick him up." At 1 hour, 11 minutes, 35 seconds. "I didn't get no pro fighter, but I'ma really have to show him you can't just hit a can on my damn face. I'm not a bully. Should I slam him first? Or should I hit him first?" Things like that. 1 hour, 16 minutes. "My dad can't ever call me a bitch. I ain't gonna hurt him bad though. He was drunk. He was pretty drunk." So again, Sid was drunk. I mean, he seems kind of in the early interactions with Sid, Sid seems a little bit slow or out of it. So I don't know if he's maybe a little slow. He says he has PTSD. I don't know exactly what that means, but so I don't know if he is a little slow or damaged in some way, or he was just kind of drunk at the event. That could be it too. I mean, the stream is kind of rough for me to watch because it's mostly just him staring at his phone and just responding to people. He doesn't, like I said, he's not walking around and he doesn't go out. Who the heck is Sid? Oh, Sid is in this event that we're talking about with Raja Jackson. Syko Sid is the wrestler that got knocked out in this whole event. Thank you for asking that. Anyways, so let's see, at about 1 hour, 20 minutes, his friend AJ Mana steps into the ring, and now he gets a little bit more involved in watching the show. Syko Stu. Oh, sorry guys. I keep thinking, oh, because I'm thinking of Syko Sid from the WWE. Thank you for reminding me. It is Syko Stu. Sorry. Erase everything I said before about Sid. It is Stu, Syko Stu. Thank you. So his boy AJ Mana gets into the ring, and now he starts to get more into the event. He gives a little bit more play-by-play, a little bit more emotional response. And he's back to looking at his stream. Watch what I do to the dude. It's not going to be scripted when I get in there. Tony, I'm going to show you Tony. At 1 hour 29, the camera shows a baby walking around, and whenever we look at the audience, it kind of looks right, and you could see there's kind of a family, some moms holding a few kids there. And he says, I might be the main event, honestly. Syko Stu, he comes into the ring in his veteran's character, military uniform. He has a flag. There's chants of USA as he's getting in. So this is all part of his wrestling persona. And as we find out, he is also a real veteran as well. Now Raja keeps saying, watch what I do to him. Now over an hour has passed since the initial event. One of the workers come to talk to Raja, assuming to tell him to get ready, that this is his match that he could get into at some point. He says, they told me to hit him and just leave. Someone's gonna pull me off of him. I'm gonna hit him as many times as I can. Watch, just watch. I'm not gonna fake it. They don't want me in there because I'm not gonna fake it. Watch. 142.09, assuming he gets some kind of cue, so this is where things start, he jumps into the ring. 1 hour, 42 minutes, about 9 seconds. He jumps into the ring, and he immediately goes after Stu. He lifts him in kind of what starts off as a single leg, as a high crotch, and he lifts him up here. Stu's head is down behind his back, ready to grab onto his waist, and Raja dumps him forward onto his back. Stu falls backwards. He hits his head on the mat, and it appears that he is out. It appears that he stops moving once his head touches the mat. Now Raja moves to the mount position, meaning he gets on top of him, and he starts hitting him. By the end of this, there are 23 unanswered punches from Raja on Stu. And mind you, this happens all very quickly, like from the moment he gets into the ring until he lands these 23 punches. I'm gonna say, I don't know, it might be like 10 to 15 seconds maximum 10 to 15 seconds maximum. And there's chaos happening around the ring. This is a tag team match going on. So, you know, in professional wrestling, when there's a tag team match, they never fairly tag each other. There's like guys fooling the ref, too many guys in the ring type of thing. So as people are getting in and out of the ring, at one point, by the time Raja gets in, there's about 6 people in the ring. And it doesn't seem like anybody really knows what's happening. Nobody seems to realize that, okay, this might not be a part of the act, because everybody is kind of just doing their own thing, their own part. Like, this guy is involved with this guy over here. There's a guy talking to the ref over there, and then eventually, as the punches keep landing, and I guess as other people around them notice, hey, this seems off. First thing is the referee. He goes in and he kind of tries to stop Raja. From punching him. There's another wrestler that comes in. He has black and white face paint on, and he is now trying to pull Raja away, but he is not able to. And in the end, there's the last wrestler, the guy that's been doing most of the interviews, Doug Mallow. He comes in and he kind of pushes and tackles Raja away from Stu. And as he pushes him, gets him off of Stu, and then Raja actually goes to try to shoot a double leg on him, and he's able to stuff the double leg, and they end up standing with each other. They're kind of pummeling, swimming, if you will, as Raja is trying to take him down, and him and Malo are kind of stuck together. BBB, yo, what up? They're kind of stuck together. They get him into the corner. Now other wrestlers are starting to come in. There are about 3 people that have Raja in the corner, pushing him against the corner. Malo says that Raja hits him at some point. I don't see the hit on camera. There's a point where it looks like Malo goes to headbutt it. Yeah, idiots in the whole thing. I agree. That's what I'm getting up to. SSB28. He goes to headbutt him. So yeah, it's just chaos. Now there's like lots of people entering the ring. You could hear like some screams from the audience. I already did get to the slam. Sorry, I've already passed the slam. The slam was nasty. The slam was nasty. Okay, tell me your question about the slam, and I'll get to it once I can. But yeah, so everybody's they corral Raj into the corner, and somebody yells, "We got to stop this." It sounds like the cameraman says, "We got to stop this." Everybody is now getting onto Raja. What else happens? The camera turns away for a little while. There's staff members getting up in there trying to talk to Raja, trying to calm him down. Camera turns away, so I don't see exactly how he gets out of the ring, but camera turns away from the stage, and then in the next view I see Raja walk into frame, and he's walking off. He has like a smear of blood on his shirt. He's walking off, not saying anything. Probably once they get him into the corner, you're just hearing lots of feedback from the microphone, like, which I thought was screaming at first, but then realized, okay, yes, that's feedback from the microphone. He walks out, kind of storms out, looking very, I would say, anxious. He walks out of the ring, walks out of the building, and it looks like the whole event is over. People are starting to leave. People are in and out of the ring. He goes out of the door, and there are a few people following him out. But then finally, in the end, there's only this one guy a guy that kind of looks like a rodeo clown that's part of the show maybe one of the organizers of the show. He seems to be kind of, yeah, like he has that rodeo clown type role in the show. I didn't see the part, I didn't notice the part of the guys trying to jump Raja outside, but I can take a look at that again later. So, like I said, there's loud feedback from the mic. Other guys are walking out. Everyone's, I mean, the wrestlers are all heated. They're pretty pissed at Raja, and he's walking pretty fast. He's just kind of focused straight ahead, and he's just walking off, and his cameraman is following him. Then he puts the microphone back around his neck. The feedback stops. He says, I'm tired of MFs playing with me. I'm tired of everyone playing with me, calling me a bitch and ish. And then one of the wrestlers, the guy that's kind of a rodeo clown, he says something to Raja, and Raja turns back to face him. And his cameraman, Lloyd, he puts his hand on his chest and let's go. He doesn't want any more. He's trying to now get Raja out of there as quickly as possible. He says, we're walking away. He puts his hand on his chest to prevent any further engagement. He says, Raja, let's go. Raja, listen to me. And then Raja says, you can't do this ish to me. You can't F with me. And then that's where my video ends. I didn't see, I'll still have to go look for something about the last 10 minutes of the stream, but in a nutshell, this is what's happening. Now, I think there's responsibility to be had all over. A lot of the I've been reading a lot on this situation throughout the week. A lot of people are blaming his dad, Rampage, for this whole thing, and I don't see how Rampage is to blame. I mean, his dad is around. Let's see. One of the wrestlers thought the whole thing was part of the show. Once Stu was laid out, he pinned Stu. Oh yes, I did read about that. Somebody did pin Stu after. And then AJ Mana also said, AJ Mana was kind of angry about all of this happening as well. Now, from my understanding, AJ Mana is both a wrestler and an MMA fighter, but AJ Mana, he's been coming on a lot of shows, and he's also been blamed for the whole thing. AJ Mana has taken a lot of the blame because basically he's the guy that brought Raja there. So they're not loving AJ Mana. Like, why'd you bring this guy to our job? Let's see what you guys are saying. Who is Sid? You're right, I got that wrong. Yeah, so the slam I spoke about, guys trying to jump Raja. Some of the wrestlers thought the whole thing was part of the show. Once Stu was laid out, he pinned Stu when Raja and the others went outside. Yeah, I mean, I was actually just talking to a good friend of mine about this, who is actually a fan of wrestling, and he's also saying, you know, the line between real and fake in wrestling is very blurry. Now, clearly he was hitting him. Clearly Raja was not playing along, but I can see how the audience and even other wrestlers in there could be confused, because from my understanding, although wrestlers often know the results of a match and they might coordinate some of the things that will happen during the match, a lot of it is improvised in the moment. Like, this feels like something that would work. So perhaps they didn't know that this was not all part of the work, because throughout this whole thing, there seems to be a lot of confusion as to what was the work and what was not the work. And this was like how the whole situation started from the very beginning. Now, let's see here. Do you think if Stu was sober, does he get knocked out as soon as he does? Ooh, if he was sober. See, I think if 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 your head hits the mat that hard, there's a good chance you can get knocked out. I don't know if you get knocked out easier when you are drunk. And I don't know if he was drunk or how drunk he was. I'm just going based off of what Raja and Lloyd had mentioned, because both of them said they thought he was kind of messed up. So I don't know if he would have been knocked out the same. Probably, I say he hit pretty hard. Maybe he does a better break fall, and he stops his head from hitting the ground as easily, because he didn't really break the fall. And yeah, so I don't know if him drinking would have caused him to get knocked out easier. I think him drinking might have caused him to not respond to being dropped as quickly. Like, I think that would have definitely slowed his reflexes down if he was drunk. And like I said, I don't know how drunk he was and how much he was already kind of, I don't know how off he was from his normal behavior. It says, why are they drinking before the show? You don't see this in boxing or MMA amateur events. Yeah, I don't know why they were drinking. I think, I don't know, it's a smaller, it seems like it's a smaller show, and they kind of had a casual environment. And I do know of, like, I think pro wrestling has many tiers. So I don't think that at a WWE show, I'm gonna guess they're not gonna be drinking backstage, but it is possible they could be. I wouldn't put that past anybody. But like I said, wrestling has many tiers, and it goes all the way down to kind of like clubs where it's almost like softball games. Like, why do people drink at softball games? Because it's nice outside, and today's a good day for a drink, type of thing. So there are wrestling clubs where people just kind of get together and wrestle for fun. And this was quite a small event. Like I said, in the stream, there's a place that probably seats 200 people max, and I would be surprised if there were 100 people there. So it was not a big place. Let's see here. No practice before the match, no communication, no clues of when to jump in, amateur hour. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit uncoordinated, but I think sometimes wrestling is that way. To me, the biggest red flag or the biggest faux pas that I saw was like bringing in a random to, yeah, it was, that was like the biggest, like, what is going on? What is going on? Even jiu-jitsu, we're not tossing people and throwing them around, but we generally are not bringing people brand new off the street, never played before, and say, okay, you go with this guy and go hard. There's kind of a building up process. So there was no building up process here, and they brought, like I said, it's kind of like bringing a live weapon onto the set of a TV show. It's just a no-no. So Roger Jackson in this situation was a big X factor, and there was just a lot of risk taking place. Because let's say it wasn't this way. Let's say Raja was not as capable as he was. Like, Raja could have easily been hurt in this situation. I didn't see any waivers being signed or anything like that. Like, what if Raja was the one that I don't know, he just falls in the ring and gets hurt. So, and I'm not trying to absolve any responsibility from Raja. I'm just saying that mistakes were had all over. Let's see, what else do we say? I think the promotion wants to cover this whole thing up. They told the wrestlers to keep their mouths shut. Yeah, I think it's absolutely, it seems wise that they want to cover it up because, like I said, yeah, lots of mistakes were made, and the more eyes that are looking at this, although Raja is taking 99% of the blame and he deserves a lot of the blame, I think the organizers also are they made some mistakes when this happened. AJ Mana is saying that the beer can, a fresh can, it wasn't part of the show. They put him in the show to avoid the lawsuit. It they put in him the show. Yeah. Probably. The beer can was probably not a part of the show. And like I said, like we saw, it was a big misunderstanding, and Stu apologized for the misunderstanding. That maybe had he been sober, the misunderstanding might not have taken place. But there was a misunderstanding, and to his credit, he did apologize for it. And you are in somebody's office, so if you catch a if you get assigned a report while visiting somebody's office, then that's something that might happen. Let's see. We don't think Raja will do 20 years or anything, but I feel like his punishment will not be as severe as people think. Yeah, I don't know. How severe should his punishment be? Or how severe do people think his punishment will be? Or will he be charged at all? Like I was talking to with my friend, like it's once the police get involved, like the police are coming onto the set of a show, and they have to decide, like, okay, where did the show end and where does the show end and where does the show begin? If Raja has a good lawyer, does the lawyer not throw just a lot of doubt into the springs, like, Your Honor, this is a work. Obviously, I mean, I've seen wrestling matches where there is a lot of blood and stuff, so the confusion of the audience is already a given. Raja has been given kind of the green light by 2 or 3 people that says, you can get in there and F him up. So there's going to be there could be misunderstanding on Raja's side. I think he did see red once he got in there, and he went past probably what he was even planning on doing, because in the chat before, while he was saying he's going to F him up, he also says he's not going to hurt him too bad. And I think he said that twice. So this was definitely not in his plans. I know he was upset and he did want some get back, but he definitely did not want the result to be the result that he got. Let's see, how many punches were thrown? So Sale Acne says, how many punches were thrown? I think I counted 23 punches. Very fast punches, 23 punches. Says, because after the apology, AJ Man and other producers told Raja to tag Stu. Yes, he was told to tag Stu. So there's yeah. It's a very crazy situation, and police still haven't arrested Raja, which, like I said, how do you go onto the set of a show during to arrest somebody for something that happened on the set of the show? Raja's obviously going to get a good lawyer, given he's Rampage's son. And other streamers like Aiden Ross already talk about him fighting on their MMA card. Yeah, I mean, like, Raja is going to become very popular off of this. This as crazy as it is, this is Raja's coming out, and this is now his this is what's making him famous. So from infamy to fame, this could happen. He already has a famous dad. He's already had a few amateur MMA fights. Supposedly he's not super coachable, and that's something that they were working on with him in getting him to listen better, getting him to get his diet down, and what's the guy's name? BKFC. Oh, Mike Perry. I don't know if Mike Perry was coaching him or he was involved with Raja. I remember him talking to Rampage and saying that he can't really get Raja to listen. Rampage also saying he can't really get Raja to listen, which is why he wants him to be kind of out on his own, to get a little bit more hungry and to realize what he needs to do to make it in MMA. Let's see here. Do you think these pro wrestling events should be licensed? I don't think pro wrestling should be licensed. I think no, because it's kind of enter at your own risk, and in pro wrestling the goal is not to hurt your opponent. The goal is to put on a performance together where you might get hurt and you will get injured, but there's no goal to knock the other person out or to break any bones or anything like that. So I don't believe wrestling should be licensed, at least not more than whatever license you require for having a big event where a crowd of people are there and you have to manage the crowd, and you have to, I guess, have like the proper number of exits and the proper medical personnel on the scene. If you have license laws, this stuff doesn't happen, in my opinion. I don't know about that. I think lots of licensed events can go left. Like boxing is licensed, and boxers get killed. Judo, like people get killed in martial arts. Even sometimes every once in a while there are deaths on the set of movies. So I don't think licensing would have helped this. I just think this was kind of maybe like an organizational culture thing where things kind of happened in a loose way, and nobody was expecting things to go as badly as they did. Like in retrospect, everybody involved, I would bet anything, would not have done any of the things that happened. So there was kind of the perfect storm of bad decisions happening all around. Luckily, Sid is alive and well, not well. He's still in the hospital. I believe he has a broken jaw. He is missing some teeth, but he is awake and he's no longer unconscious, and so that's good. I'm glad that's happening. Now after the whole thing, I remember Rampage. They had asked, because they're constantly asking Rampage about this situation. Hold on a sec. So the aftermath: the victim was seriously injured and knocked unconscious. Legal response. It says the police began investigating, but I don't see much detail about any police investigation. The online world is calling for his head. The online world is calling for his head. I think this may be something that's a little bit difficult for police to investigate, just because of the gray area between professional wrestling and actual violence. Now, Rampage, after this, he had an initial statement saying that MFer that hit my son in the head is stupid, but he later changed his statement once he saw the gravity of the situation. He saw how bad things were. So he later said, "I don't condone what my son did. I'm going to let justice play out. I just wish I could have been there. Hopefully one day I can meet Syko Stu and shake his hand. I hope he can forgive me as a dad for not understanding everything." So comments are constantly flaming Rampage, condemning him, asking him to, people are asking Rampage to condemn his son's behavior, turn him into the police, ask for the chair for his son, and it's insane to me that It is because he's a high profile individual, but generally you wouldn't necessarily expect a father to be the one to throw their son legally under the bus. Like if you did, if you were to do some kind of, hypothetically, if you were to do some kind of crime and tell your dad about it, you know, part of you is hoping that he's going to help you in some way, or protect you in some way, as a father should or might, depending on your opinion on what a father should do. But should a father say, go to jail and turn yourself into the police, or should he help you hide out and buy the plane ticket for you to get out of the country, or get you on that boat, something like that? You know, as a father myself, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Sure, I want my son to be a responsible person, but I also you also have to expect, rightfully so, that a father should be incredibly biased to their own kids, and want the best for their kids, even if it's at the cost of other people. You want your kids come first. That's why nepotism exists. That's why you know the CEO doesn't necessarily hire the best person for the job. They're going to want their kid in there, and I think that's kind of a normal thing. I don't think it's something that should surprise people. Let's see, what else do we have? I think that's about it. That's all I really have on this situation. Speedy recovery for Syko Stu, and I mean, Raja he has to take some responsibility for this situation. It looked very bad, and yeah. But I just wanted to go through the whole situation, the whole play by play, because I've been looking at clips and I've been hearing people's takes on it, but to actually watch the stream is another thing. And just in case you didn't want to watch the stream yourself, and maybe you just want to listen to this in your car on the way to somewhere, rather than look at another guy look at his phone, you could listen to me looking at my phone. Let's see here. What do we have here? I also feel like there's a lot of foreigners who are speaking about the laws in California who are ignorant about it. That's true as well. It's true as well. I mean, this situation happened online, so everybody in the world is going to be giving their opinions about it. Rampage has been streaming and drinking since the incident. He looks depressed, and is. Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody say, like, oh, Rampage is at a bowling alley. How could you be at a bowling alley at a time like this? But what are you supposed to do? The situation already happened. I'm sure he's talked to Raja many times, and you still gotta keep living, right? You staying home, and is he gonna stay home and cry about it, or you still gotta go out and do your thing, and it's gonna be harder for somebody like him to navigate this, because there's always going to be attention on him. He's a very public person, so yeah. I think drinking is his coping mechanism. He's fulfilling the kit contract, probably using it for the money to pay for the lawyer fees. Fair game. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to SSB28, great conversation. Thank you to Sale Acne for throwing in. Thank you to Kinfolk Nem for correcting me. I kept saying Psycho Sid because you remember there was a WWE character, Psycho Sid, back in the day, and I confused Psycho Sid with the current Syko Stu. So we're talking about Syko Stu and Raja Jackson. Man, good stuff. Yeah. Thank you guys. That's it for today. I am off, and yeah, buddy. See you next time. How do I stop this? This is... Peace out, guys. Let me see if there's anything else left to say. I'm cold. Oh, wait. 2 more people. It says Vibe Studios. Did y'all see that rapper that dissed him? No, I did not. And I'm cold, says Rage Bait Jackson. Was that his name? Anyways. But yeah, thank you for joining me. TAIPEI BJJ, also known as TAIPEI BJJ. I'm Tariq Finn. Good to talk to you. Check out any of the other videos that we got if you're into jiu-jitsu, into mixed martial arts, all that. Thank you so much.